So, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily MCQ Practice. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs through a set of 4 to 5 MCQs. The objective of this lecture series is twofold. We want you to revise your current affairs and we want you to revise them through the much needed MCQ practice, because this MCQ practice would come in really handy for your prelims examination. You see, the thing is that if you are going to follow this lecture series regularly, then you are going to practice 4 to 5 MCQs from the topic of current affairs on a daily basis. And these 4 to 5 MCQs covered on a daily basis would add up to more than 1200 MCQs. Now, 1200 MCQs from the topic of current affairs alone are more than sufficient for your prelims examination. You wouldn't have to worry about your current affairs portion while appearing in this exam. So make sure that you make this lecture series a part of your daily routine, a daily habit of yours. Alright, enough of the introduction. Let's straight away jump into the lecture, starting with question number 1. Consider the following statements regarding Comptroller and Auditor General. The appointment of CAG is done by President by the warrant under his hand and seal. The President has the power to remove CAG on the aid and advice of Union Council of Ministers. The reports of CAG are tabled in the legislature and scrutinized by Public Accounts Committee. How many of the above statements are correct? Now, the thing is, look, we have a constitutional office that is regarded as the guardian of public purse in our country. This office is known as the Office of Comptroller and Auditor General CAG, and it is established as per Article 148 of the Constitution. Now, Article 148 to Article 151 deal with this office of CAG. Okay, so all the constitutional provisions with respect to CAG are mentioned in these 4 articles. Okay, now the thing is that CAG is the guardian of public purse. That means it has the power to scrutinize the expenditure of governments in India, whether that's central government or state government, whether that's the financial accounts of central government companies or the financial accounts of state government companies, PSUs. All these scrutinization, all these audits are done by CAG. Okay. Now, CAG is an important office because, like I said, he's the guardian of public purse in India. It's an important office. Now, CAG is appointed by the president, by the warrant under his hand and seal. That means president has complete authority as far as appointment of CAG is concerned. And the president is bound by the aid and advice of Council of Ministers, which is headed by the Prime Minister. So, in essence, PM in his council appoints CAG. That is why many people allege that there is some bias in the appointment process. Okay, but nonetheless, this is the appointment process. So first statement is correct. Now, once CAG is appointed, well, he has a fixed tenure of 6 years or until he achieves the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. He cannot be removed before this term. Okay, so he has a fixed term. The only way of removing CAG is similar to the way of removing a Supreme Court judge. As you know, removal of Supreme Court judge is pretty complicated. You need 2/3 majority in the parliament. Okay, and a special address has to be presented to the president. Then only president can remove Supreme Court judge. But the same process is followed for CAG. So president has the power to remove CAG on the aid and advice of Union Council of Ministers? Absolutely not. Okay. Now, after scrutinizing the accounts of central and state governments, all the financial accounts of central government, state government, CAG submits a report. When it comes to central accounts, the report is given to the president. And when it is about state accounts, the report is given to the respective governor. Now, the president is bound to table this report in the parliament and the governor in state legislative assemblies. Once they are tabled in these legislatures, then they are scrutinized by the House Public Accounts Committee, who present their reports, and a discussion on these reports and the findings of these reports are done in the parliament or the respective legislature, state legislature. So third statement is absolutely correct. Okay, so only 2 statements are correct. The answer is B. Question 2. Consider the following statements regarding Indo-Pacific Oceans Initiative. It is a legally binding treaty launched by India in 2019 at the ASEAN-led East Asia Summit in Bangkok, which is in Thailand. The aim of IPOI is to promote cooperation for a free, open and rules-based Indo-Pacific region. It builds upon India's Sagar initiative launched by PM Modi in 2015. Which of the above statements are correct? Now look, China is encroaching in the Indo-Pacific region. Indo-Pacific region is the region of Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean taken together. Okay, and China is basically flexing its muscles there. China is basically establishing its hegemony. Okay, China is increasing its naval presence. So to counter that, like-minded countries have gotten together and launched many initiatives so as to keep the Indo-Pacific region free, open, and rules-based. Okay, so that no one country can dominate this region. This region is too strategically important. Okay, now there have been many initiatives. One such international initiative was launched by India, known as Indo-Pacific Oceans Initiative. It was launched in 2019 at the ASEAN's East Asia Summit in Bangkok, Thailand. This part is correct. Now, the part that is false in this statement, which makes this statement false, is that this initiative is not a legally binding treaty. It is a voluntary treaty. It is a voluntary agreement. Okay. It is not even a treaty also. It is basically a cooperative mechanism through which different countries, like-minded countries, can cooperate on different aspects of Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean, Indo-Pacific region. So because of this phrase legally binding treaty, this statement becomes false. Okay. Now the aim is to create a free, open and rule-based Indo-Pacific, absolutely correct. And it builds upon India's Sagar initiative. Okay. Security and development for all. Basically, it has a full form. I'm right now forgetting, but this is again, Sagar initiative was free international waters, open international waters, rules-based international waters. So it was launched by PM Modi and in 2015, and this initiative builds upon that. Basically, it is in sync with this initiative. Okay. Both have similar aims. So the statement is also correct. 2 and 3, the answer is B. Question 3. Consider the following statements regarding election process in India. It is mandatory for Election Commission to verify each and every vote through voter verifiable paper audit trail. Representation of People's Act 1950 regulates the conduct of elections in India. Representation of People's Act 1951, because you need to know there are two Representation of People's Act, governs the preparation of electoral rolls in India. Election Commission is formed under Article 324 of the Constitution. Okay, so which of the above statements are not correct? So this fourth statement is known to everyone. Okay, Election Commission of India, well, is the constitutional authority and it is tasked with supervising the entire electoral process of the country, whether that's central elections, parliamentary elections, or state legislative assembly elections. Okay, and this power to the Election Commission comes from Article 324. In fact, Article 324 of the Constitution gives the authority of general supervision of elections in India to ECI, Election Commission of India. So fourth statement is correct. Okay. Now let's talk about VVPAT. You see, after the advent of EVMs, okay, you have buttons. You just press a button and cast your vote, right? So this is how an EVM functions. Okay. Now, when EVMs were introduced, people were suspicious of this. Okay. People thought that maybe these EVMs, well, they can be hacked, they can be pre-programmed. The ruling party can misuse it. Okay. Many people have alleged in the past that we have pressed a button to vote for one particular party, but the vote went to another party. And this is wrong. EVMs were hacked. They were pre-programmed, right? So people have leveled all sorts of allegations. Now, to counter all these allegations, government created a system. Election Commission came out with a system. Okay, and that system is that as soon as you press a button, a slip will be generated. Paper slip will be generated. In that paper slip, you can verify, okay, whether your vote went to your intended party. So if you press the button against BJP, the vote should have been there with BJP. Okay, if you voted for Congress, this paper slip will show that the vote went to Congress. Okay, this paper slip is generated for your own verification. You as a voter can verify yourself, and then this paper slip will go away. Okay, it will be kept or stored by the Election Commission authorities. Okay, Election Commission. Now the thing is, many people have said that after the election process is over, during the counting stage, okay, you need to verify each and every vote with this paper slip during counting stage, so that each and every vote is verified through this paper slip. Now, Election Commission of India has contested this. Election Commission says that we cannot verify each and every vote. There are so many votes polled and it will take a lot of time. The results would be delayed, and this is wrong. What we can do is, we can choose 5% of the votes at random and verify them, so that because we have chosen these votes at random, you can be assured that we are not selecting, we are not basically selecting our favorite votes. Okay, we are at random choosing 5% of the votes and verifying them. Clear? But opposition parties have still persisted. They want 100% verification of VVPAT. Okay, so it is mandatory for election commission to verify each and every vote? No, this is actually a demand of opposition parties, but it is not being fulfilled currently. Okay, so this is false. Now, Representation of Peoples Act 1950 basically governs preparation of electoral rolls, and 1951 regulates conduct of elections. Okay, so these two statements are opposite. So both of them are incorrect. What was asked? Which of the above is are not correct? 1, 2, and 3 are not correct. D. All right. Question 4. Which of the following reasons justify choosing spaceport sites on India's east coast? Proximity to equator, launch in eastward direction, largely uninhabited region on India's eastern side creates a safety zone for the launch. Okay. Now, India's only operational spaceport is Sri Harikota, which is also known as Satish Dhawan Space Center in Andhra Pradesh on the eastern coast. India's earlier spaceport was Wheeler Island in Odisha. There was also one Vikram Sarabhai Space Center in Kerala. Okay, and now ISRO is building another port on the east coast in the state of Tamil Nadu. Now the question is, why do we choose east coast of India as the most probable site for building a spaceport? Okay, why is east coast of India so special? First of all, southern eastern coast of India is closer to the equator, and proximity to the equator is very important for a launch site. Why? Because the rotational speed of Earth is faster at the equator and slowest at the poles. So if you want to take the advantage of Earth's speed, you have to launch your rocket closer to the equator. So this part is correct. Now the Earth moves from west to east. So your launch has to be in the eastward direction if you want to take the advantage of Earth's rotation. So this is the reason. And on the southern eastern side of India, the area is occupied by Indian Ocean. It is largely uninhabited. So this creates a safety zone so that in case there is a crash, the rocket malfunctions, it drops on an uninhabited zone, not on that area where the population resides. Okay, so this part is also correct. All three statements are correct. The answer is D. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. But it would add more value if you just spend another 5 to 10 minutes revising this lecture as well. What do I mean by revision? Well, spend another 5 to 10 minutes taking a look at written detailed solutions to each and every MCQ discussed above. Now, these solutions are provided in our notes. And these notes are available on our Telegram channel. Where can you find our Telegram channel? Just below this video in the comment section, you'll find a link. Just have to click on that link. It'll take you to the Telegram channel, and from there you can download the notes for this lecture and do the necessary revision. On that note, I'll be signing off with the promise of seeing you again with another set of MCQs. Thank you, everyone.